I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Excelsior. Excelsior. God, it's so clear to me. It's so clear. It's clear to me, but it's not clear to you. He uses you, Edith.
Hey, bro, you mind putting on some pants? I find it a little weird I have to ask twice. I was just protecting my guys. They were trying to kill our soldiers, and I'm willing to meet my creator and answer for every shot that I took.
Is that me?
That's you.
You just write that now?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to another special episode of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. My name is Flo.
And I'm Gabe.
How you doing, man?
I'm fine. I'm doing great. My kitchen looks like shit right now, but I'm gonna go take care of that after we finish recording.
What a detail here. What an interesting...
I know.
How are you? My kitchen looks like shit. Thank you.
I haven't done the dishes in a week. How are you?
Oh, let's cut that part. No, I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm excited because this is an episode this is another special episode. So we're going to talk about a person's career, and not just the news, not just the best thing we've seen all week, but rather the best thing that we've seen from an actor or a director. And one thing that we haven't discussed is because obviously, as you can read from the title, this week we're going to do it on Bradley Cooper, but we don't have like any reason why. we managed to, like last time with Amy Adams, to like find at least something, but I don't know. Is there anything that Bradley Cooper's doing these days that we could justify the selection?
Hopefully he's self-isolating, but I don't know what he's doing right now.
Yes, in honor of Bradley Cooper self-isolating, we're doing a list around
We're going to
him.
do this on every single actor who's self-isolating
Yes.
right now.
Well, we have to do it whilst they're still self-isolating,
Yeah.
right? So hopefully it's only going to be a couple more weeks, but who knows?
Yeah, but hopefully America is going to self-isolate for a bit longer.
Yes. So, is there anything else that we want to discuss before we get into today's show? Because there's one thing that I would like to mention.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Because last week I mentioned Unbelievable, the show, and I just wanted to say, because last week I didn't know if it was based on a true story, and by now I finished it, and I just want to state for the record that this is obviously, it is based on a true story. So very much so. The first episode, that whole case is based on a true episode, on a true story. And I just want to say I finished it by now, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. And the cast is phenomenal, and they cast like the real life people really well, in my opinion, as well, especially like towards the later episodes. Really, really good. I just wanted to mention that because I didn't know it last week.
That's interesting. Actually, thought I haven't heard about it yet, or that I just ignored it, but it actually had it on my watch list on Netflix, and I just completely forgot about it and got buried under a lot of other stuff.
Right. That doesn't mean a lot these days to have something on a watch list, though, right? I mean, you can just put it on there and forget about it, as you said.
Yeah, fair, yeah.
Yes. So let's get this going, I think. Or anything else that you would like to discuss? Have you seen anything that you want to talk about now rather than in our next regular episode?
I watched something yesterday, and I think I'm gonna save it for next week.
All right. I love that. It's a little teaser. Please come back. No, but yeah, let's get this going. So let's talk about some of the logistics first. So how this special episode works is we're going to talk about the best thing that we've seen from Bradley Cooper this week. We're going to do this by counting down our top 10 lists. So this list can include like movies, it can include shows, it can include like YouTube videos or any other kind of visual medium. Are you going to make the joke? No? Okay.
No.
Oh, thank you.
It's done.
All right.
I'll do it the next time I go to the museum.
All right. So we don't know each other's list. And what we thought we'd do this week a little bit differently is if someone else has a pick higher than the other person, then we're going to wait for the higher pick. We're going to wait to discuss the movie or the show or the video once we get to the person who has it higher, so that we don't talk about the same thing twice. I hope that makes sense. And we're just going to talk about it one by one. So we're going to count down like 10 our 10 spot like each, and then he's going to do his number 10, I'm going to do my number 10, and then once we get to the number 1, which is obviously the best thing that we've seen from Bradley Cooper. Did any of this make sense?
In perfect sense. But
Thank you.
then again, I already know the concept.
Yes. It was a rhetorical question.
Sounded perfect.
Yeah. All right. So anything else, or should we just get straight into it?
I think we can just jump right in, right?
Oh, one important thing. We've excluded the MCU.
Yeah.
That was important because if we were to include the MCU, I think, honestly, 4 of my 10 would be on there. 4 of the 10 things would be MCU things. So we've excluded that. So have that in mind. It's not going to be any Marvel movies on there, but they would be on there if we had included them. But we just wanted to talk about a bit more. We wanted to have a bit more variety than just the MCU.
Something where you can actually see Bradley Cooper.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So I think it's my turn to start because with Amy Adams you started. Yeah. Let's get this going. So we talked like briefly before the show started, just a little bit. And you mentioned that you had a tough time picking your number 1 or you like ranking the first 5 spots.
Yeah.
And so did I. This was a tough list because he's done a lot of great stuff. But one of the most difficult choices for me was number 10 because two things were fighting for that. But in the end, I decided to go with the A-Team as my number 10.
I haven't seen that one yet.
You haven't seen it?
No.
I watched this for the show.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And
you took one for the team.
I did. And I honestly fucking loved it, dude.
How? It looks so terrible.
That's what I was thinking, dude. It's honestly, maybe it's once again the beauty of low expectations. It worked last time for me. What was the one that we talked about last time?
With Amy Adams.
Was it with Amy Adams? There was one thing that, with the low expectations, that actually really surprised me.
Hummingbird.
Hummingbird. I think you're right. Yes. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, and this was the same thing, but I really liked it. It's got Liam Neeson in it as well. And you got Jessica Biel, and you got Sharlto Copley, and you got, what's his name? The guy who plays B.A. Baracus. I'm going to look this up real quick because it's like Quintus Jackson or something.
The UFC fighter.
Yes. Hold on one second. It's the guy like Mr. T played him. But it's a different one in the remake. It's Quinton Rampage Jackson. He plays it. And Patrick Wilson is in this. But it's like, it's honestly, I don't think you would enjoy this. I really don't think you would. But it's like a dumb, stupid action, not really comedy, but like a fun action film with a really interesting story. I watched the unrated director's cut. Or not the director's cut, the unrated extended edition. So I can compare it to the theatrical version. Maybe that's like perceived better, because obviously you're right. I think the theatrical version isn't like raved about like regularly. Like I don't think people love that movie, but maybe the unrated version is better. I don't know.
Well,
but
have you seen the original?
No.
Okay.
What you mean you mean the show?
The original show, yeah.
No, I haven't seen that. No.
Oh, okay.
So I really had little to no idea what this whole thing was about, obviously, like besides the concept of the A-Team, but it's just it is stupid, and and the action is really, really cool. There's like a couple of nice, I always like these planning moments where they plan the heist or whatever, and then it comes off perfectly, and it's they had like some really, really nice and cool and smart ideas and nice little couple of twists and turns, and they didn't take the movie seriously, which is what this movie needed, I think. Like it didn't need to be taken seriously, and they just had fun with it, and it's really good. I really liked it. That's all I'm gonna say on it.
I got 2 questions. First of all, do they kill anybody in the film? And do they build a tank out of garbage again?
Is that a show reference?
Pretty much every episode they build a tank out of some junk lying around, and then they fire to warn them, and then they kind of surrender. And I think they never actually kill anybody in the show.
No, I
might be wrong. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
There's one character in this film that has some doubts about killing people, like halfway through, because he decides it's not. I'm not going to say who. He decides it's not like ethical anymore or not. Like he found his inner peace and he doesn't want to kill anyone anymore. And the tank, there's one fantastic tank sequence in this film, which is so stupid. It's amazing. I don't know if they're trying to fly a tank. That's all I'm going to say.
Of course.
It's
right.
amazing. It's amazing.
You have to take it up a notch for the film.
Yes, absolutely. But there was no garbage no garbage tanks. I didn't see those.
I just remember an episode where they're at a junkyard or something and they build a tank out of the junk that's lying around.
It sounds like something they would do, yeah. But they didn't do it in this one. And it's one of the reasons why I was interested in this film also is because it's directed by Joe Carnahan, who did the Grey, the Liam Neeson film.
Okay.
Which
Also,
I really
didn't
liked.
enjoy much. All right.
I thought you liked that movie.
It was alright.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah.
I'm a fan of the ending.
I wouldn't recommend. Yeah, I love the ending. I wouldn't recommend the A-Team to you, but it's stupid fun action. I'm gonna say which movie it actually because it fought with another movie, and I think that movie's gonna make your list. But actually, I'm not gonna say it. I'll say it when we get to yours.
All right. Well, then my number 10 is a film that we talked about last episode, which is War Dogs.
Oh, okay. Didn't make my list. Was a tough
All right.
cut.
It's fair because the reason it's my number 10 is because Bradley Cooper's role is incredibly small in this one.
Yeah,
He's got like 3-4 scenes maybe.
that's why I didn't
Tops.
include it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a cool character and I think he carries it quite well. And if you listen to the last episode we recorded, you know what the film is about. It's about weapon dealers and Bradley Cooper is this badass legend in the weapon dealing world and yeah, he plays kind of a badass gangster, kind of.
Yeah. No, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun role.
It is. It was surprising to see him in it because he wasn't like. I don't think people knew that going in. They kept that a secret.
It's kind of cool when A-list actors make these kind of small appearances and don't
Yeah.
always, I don't know, steal the show.
Yeah. Well, it was probably a favor to the director, who's the guy who made him famous, like the Hangover director.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it because I think we talked about it quite a bit last episode. So.
Yes, we did. If you want to get a more in-depth look on, if you want us to talk a little bit more, then you can check out the last episode. But that's actually a perfect segue because my number 9 is The Hangover.
Oh, all right.
Is that higher on your list?
It is quite a bit.
All right, perfect. All right, then let's skip. We'll talk about it later. What's your number 9?
All right. My number 9 is a film that I think will not make your list, which is Joy.
It will not make my list. No, it didn't make my list.
I thought so. A film by the same director who did American Hustle and Silver Linings Playbook.
Yes.
So he's worked with Bradley Cooper quite a bit, and the film is all right. It's not a kind of film with him and Jennifer Lawrence,
Yes.
who play together in Silver Linings Playbook. And the film is all right. It's about a true story about a woman who kind of invents a mob, pretty much.
Yeah, they're also in American Hustle together. They work together quite a bit as well.
Also, yeah. And he plays this business guy who tries to get her on the air and kind of present her product and try to kind of make her product famous. And nobody really takes her seriously because she's just a housewife, pretty much. And I think it's kind of an interesting dynamic and an interesting role for him. And I thought it was quite a sweet film, and especially kind of seeing them in those different roles, because when I heard about the film, I just expected Silver Linings Playbook 2.0.
Yes. I remember you were very excited about the
because I loved
the
Silver Linings
sequel.
Playbook. Yeah.
I think we saw that
Set
with Steven, didn't we?
Yeah, because I saw Silver Linings
Yeah.
Playbook with him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to talk about it a bit later.
Yeah.
So what did you think of Joy? I know you weren't a big fan of it.
No, I thought it was fine. I literally didn't love it or hate it. I thought it was absolutely fine. I think Jennifer Lawrence was great in it, and it was. I just remembered. The one scene I remember quite vividly. There's like that one scene where she fires a gun, or does she fire some sort of a rifle?
Yeah.
And another one is where she's like in the the commercial, like where she's selling a kitchen utensil or a broom, something like that.
On the set, yeah.
Yeah, that yellowish set. That's one thing. I don't remember much about the film. I remember Edgar Ramirez is the guy who lives like in the basement.
Yeah, her ex-husband who
Yeah.
crashed on her couch, yeah.
and they like split the room in half, don't they?
I think
They,
so.
like, they draw a line or something. But I don't remember much about the film. It didn't stick with me too much. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, that's pretty much the film. I also thought it was fine, but I thought his role was quite interesting, and he did have a bit more to do than, for example, War Dogs.
Yeah, it's always difficult to balance that. Once again, I had the same issue because there's a couple of films that Bradley Cooper makes appearances in that I love, but I wouldn't necessarily call them a Bradley Cooper movie, or thing, whatever. It's difficult to weigh these things. So once again, we have another perfect segue because my number 8 is actually Silver Linings Playbook, which is going to be a lot higher on your list. I'm sure
it will be.
Yeah. All right. No, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. It sounds like we're skipping a lot of conversations now, but we'll get back to it.
It's gonna be one big talk at the end of the
episode.
All right. So my number 8 is a film that we saw together in the sneak, which I thought it's a fun movie.
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on your list either.
Okay.
Or maybe it is. It's Burned.
That was my number 11.
Im Rausch der Sterne.
Let's cut that part.
The German title.
Yeah. That's my number 11. That was the one that fought hardest, with the A-Team. Couldn't quite get it.
It lost to the A-Team.
It lost to the A-Team, yeah.
To be fair, it's not a great film, but it's a fun romantic comedy. It's got cooking in it.
I was going to say, it's not a romantic comedy. I mean,
it kind of is.
It's a cooking film with a bit of romance and drama.
Yes, but the cooking is kind of the backdrop for the whole
thing. Come on. No, I disagree.
Kind of. All right.
I wholeheartedly disagree on that one. That's a cooking film. It's about him trying to get like a 3rd star or 4th star. I don't remember.
Yeah, it is. All right, fair. All right. It is a cooking film which has a big romantic element in it.
Small one.
No. Shut up. And it's got Daniel Brühl in it.
Yes.
A famous German actor you all pretty much, I assume everybody's heard of or seen it in, I don't know, Rush or Goodbye Lenin, whatever. Civil War?
Captain America.
Who was in that?
Yeah, he's Zemo. He's the villain.
Right. It's been quite some time since I've seen the film. It came out, 4 years ago now?
Civil War, yeah, it must, I don't know, 15, 16, I don't know, 17? It's gonna be wrong. I think 16 is right.
Anyway. It's a fun film, and cooking films are always kind of fun to watch, because we all get hungry, and we all kind of love this kind of food porn, at least I do.
Yeah. Oh, I do too.
And like I said, it's not a great film, but it's got some really funny moments, and it's a great family film, or just, I don't know, it's a very light film, let's call it that. Yeah,
it didn't, it wasn't very well received, but I actually really liked it. I remember it was the first sneak that Max went with us.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. I believe that's true, yeah. And I really liked that film.
It's all been about 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe 5.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Time goes by, fuck.
Yeah. But I remember, do you remember that scene where he kisses Daniel Brühl?
I do, yeah.
And he said, "Thank you." I love that scene.
Yeah.
I think he's really good in this. I really enjoyed Burn. And you got Sienna Miller in there, and Alicia Vikander as a small cameo.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, she's his ex, I think, and they run into each other at some sort of opening for the Matthew Reese's restaurant. I think it's something like a party there, and they run into each other there.
It must have been shortly before or during her breakthrough, right?
Yeah.
Ex Machina came out, I think, the same year, or a couple of months before.
I don't know what year Burnt came out. Let me have a look. But I think you're right. Yeah, it was right around the corner when right around that time when Burnt was 2015, and Ex Machina was, I believe you're right, it's 2014. No, it's actually
right.
Yeah, but it was right around the same time. Yeah.
Also an amazing film.
Yes. It's not going to make is that going to be on your list? Ex Machina?
Wish it would.
Yeah.
But it'll make another list.
Yes, it will. All right. So my number 7, you're not going to have this 100%, because I wanted to stay true to the concept of our show, which includes YouTube videos. And as soon as we as soon as we said that we're going to do it on Bradley Cooper, I knew that this video was going to be on it. And my
Don't you dare.
Sorry?
I also got a YouTube video.
Oh, you also got a
number
YouTube
7.
video?
Yeah.
Oh, this could be wonderful. So my number 7 is. Are you as excited as I am? So my number 7 is his appearance on Jimmy Fallon, where he can't stop laughing.
I got that. No.
Oh, it's a different. You got I'm excited to hear what you're gonna say. Have you seen that video?
No, I haven't. No.
You haven't seen it? Oh, dude, it's amazing. It's like it's got like I don't know how many million views by now because they uploaded like the extended clip on YouTube. They couldn't air the whole thing on TV because it took so long, but they literally couldn't stop laughing when they talked about the Elephant Man because Bradley Cooper played him in a play, and they talked about him like seeing his bones and stuff like that, and they had like these weird wigs on the whole time, and they couldn't get through it because they were just laughing the whole way through. And I love the video because it's so genuine. You can see that it's genuine. Maybe they like amplified a little bit for TV's sake or whatever, but it seems very, very genuine. And I've watched it so many times over the years, and it always makes me laugh. And if you haven't seen it, dude, you got to watch it. It's like, I think it's 10 minutes long on YouTube.
Wow. All right.
And obviously there's a bit of breaks in between, and the producer or whoever it is, she keeps counting them back in so that they can reset. And it's really, really funny because they can't make it through like more than 10 seconds towards the end. Like it just keeps building and building, and they just keep losing it. It's really, really funny, and that had to make my list. What's the best thing that I've seen from Bradley Cooper? That's certainly one of the best things that I've seen.
But it's funny to just say that it seems so genuine, because one of the reasons I stopped watching Jimmy Fallon is because I always think he seems so fake, and his laughter always seems so fake.
Yeah, you're not alone. Yeah. Everyone says that, yeah. But he keeps doing it, so I'm by now I'm thinking that's genuine. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it is.
I don't know.
Maybe the internet is too tough on him.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. I can completely understand that. But check that one out. It's really, really good. I think you just type in on YouTube Bradley Cooper, Jimmy Fallon. It's going to be the first one. Like, they can't stop laughing or something like that.
All right. Well, I'm extremely surprised that we don't have the same thing for
Yes.
number 7, which is a show that's on YouTube. It also turned into a movie on Netflix, which is not as good, but it's Between Two Ferns, the episode where Bradley Cooper is on. If you don't know what Between Two Ferns is, Bradley Cooper's co-star in Hangover is Zach Galifianakis, who's a comedian, and he does this show Between Two Ferns where he sits down with famous actors and even Obama once, and they sit down and he just becomes an absolute arrogant asshole and pretty much ignores his guests and makes fun of them. And yeah,
it's amazing.
It's all scripted, of course, but it seems just so genuine how the people react, as if they would be, I don't know, they got lured into this studio and he just becomes this incredible asshole and they all just want to walk out, or I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't call it scripted. I think
so, isn't it?
Well, they know that they're not supposed to take him or his questions seriously, but I don't think they've heard the questions before.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. There's so many great episodes. Do you remember my favorite quote with the Hillary Clinton episode?
I do.
where he asks her, like, so you were Secretary of State under Obama for like a couple of, or I don't know how many years, 8 years maybe. And so how does he, so how does President Obama take his coffee? Like himself? Weak? She's just, it's got no answer. It's amazing.
He's incredible.
He's so good. There's so many great episodes. The Natalie Portman one comes to mind.
Yeah.
Which
or
is amazing.
Charlize Theron.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's amazing as well. But what's like the highlight of the Bradley Cooper episode? Are they like fighting?
And he thinks he's going to sit down with his Hangover co-star and just going to have a good time, and all of a sudden he becomes this incredible asshole. So I love the Wedding Crashers, and Bradley Cooper says, "Oh, thank you." And so, what? You were in that one? So yeah, I played blah blah blah. And so, oh well, I must have been thinking of the Wedding Planner, and just tries to downplay him, and then starts poking him with his pen until Bradley Cooper can't control himself anymore. It's great, yeah.
That's a good shout, dude. Maybe if I'd thought about that, I would have included that as well. But it's not that didn't make my list, but it's a great choice.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's free on YouTube, and it doesn't have as many episodes as it should have.
No, but that sort of makes it even better, don't you think?
Yeah, I guess so. You can binge watch it in a day, all the episodes, and it's just a great fucking time.
Is he in the movie as well, Bradley Cooper?
I don't think so. Matthew McConaughey is in that one, and
yeah, so many people.
Yeah,
I started watching it, but I didn't finish it.
The movie isn't great. The interviews are fun, but the whole backdrop story is
All right, so what a coincidence, right? Number 7, both 2 YouTube videos. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So my number 6 is American Hustle, which I assume is another. Do you have that higher?
It's a bit higher, yeah.
All right. Let's keep going. It's fine. All
right, my number 6 is definitely going to be very high in your list, which is American Sniper.
Oh, I did not think that was going to make your list. Wow.
Yeah.
That is higher on my list, yeah. This concept is fantastic. We'll be done like in 2 minutes. We'll have that higher? Yes, yeah. All
right. So, number 5.
My number 5 is A Star is Born.
Once again, it's higher on my list. But don't worry, my next pick is something we can talk about again.
All right.
Because my number 5 is Hangover.
There we go.
Let's go.
That was my number 9. So
yeah,
that was sort of the first one that was sort of the movie that made him a star, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think it's most likely the first film I've seen him in.
I was going to say.
The one thing I remembered him from, because I remember after Bradley Cooper became famous, everybody just referred to him as the Hangover guy.
Right. And he did a good job of like breaking out of that mold over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Because he's done so many good things in his career. But I agree. That was also the first thing that I've seen from him. And it's great, man. I think we're both talking about the first one.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Which is just, I mean, everyone has seen The Hangover, right? They're trying to look for their friend. They spend the night in Vegas and they don't remember anything and their friend is missing. And yeah, hilarity ensues. I haven't seen it in a while, but I still remember so many things about it, and it's a cult classic by now, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I picked it, put it in such a high spot, because even if I don't think it's that great anymore, probably because I've watched it like 100 times when I was younger, when it came out. But the thing is, yeah, it's just such a classic, and there's a reason why everybody has seen it and why it's been quoted so many times. And
yeah. The bloopers of all of those films are something else to behold. They're amazing as well.
I remember we got on DVD and just watched it I don't know how many times.
The bloopers or the movie?
Both. Yeah, both.
Yeah. Do you like the second one and the third one?
I didn't think I've actually seen the third one. I thought the second one was alright, but not great.
I'm blanking on the second one. The third one was the one in Bangkok, right?
Wasn't the second one the one in Bangkok?
Was the second one in Bangkok? I think you're right. See? I'm mixing things up.
What's the third one?
I think the third one is with John Goodman. I remember that scene.
No idea. But then again, the only thing I remember about the second one is the monkey. That's pretty much it.
The second one?
Yeah, the one in Bangkok.
Yeah, I remember them waking up in that hotel room and Ed Helms' character is like almost mutilated with like tattoos or whatever. He wakes up with a tattoo on his face, I think.
That's the first one.
But isn't there like another tattoo and then yeah, I think you're right.
Or is it the second one where he gets the Mike Tyson tattoo? Isn't it the first one? Then they actually meet Mike Tyson?
Yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah.
That's the first one, you're right. But isn't the second one also like they wake up in that thing in Bangkok and they're like, doesn't he have another tattoo? Maybe it is the second one
with the tattoo. Yeah. The first one is the one with the tiger.
Yeah. The tiger for sure, yeah. I don't know. So, yeah. I think the second one is the one with the tattoo, but I'm not sure.
It's all a blur.
Yes.
Just like in Hangover.
We're just playing. We just play like we don't have a clue. We know this one by heart. Yeah, I think are they going to make a fourth one? There's like hasn't there been like talks of making another one for like years?
I hope not.
Yeah.
There's been enough, and I think Bradley Cooper has got better things to do.
Yeah, I think maybe the third one was enough of a like people, the reception was pretty bad, so maybe they won't do the fourth one after all. But it also like didn't that like also launch the career of Ken Jeong, or however you pronounce his name, the guy, Community, and he played what was his name, Mr. Chow,
Mr. Chang,
Mr. Chang. Sorry, yeah,
or Senior Chang.
Yeah, something like that. I need to watch that movie again. I haven't seen it in so long.
Oh well, Senior Chang is his name in Community.
Yeah, isn't it Mr. Chow in Hangover?
Could be. Yeah.
Mr. Yeah, it is.
He's got some great lines, which I better not quote.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I think everybody quoted him after they saw the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't, but...
I don't know.
Yeah.
Simpler times back then.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie came out like in, what was it, 2008 or 2009?
Really?
Crazy how long. Ago? Yeah. 2009, yeah.
Wow. All right.
First one. It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, when you see it at that age, it's 10 times funnier.
What age were you back then?
I don't want to say.
I was in my 30s back then.
Of course, you always were.
Yeah, I'm always in my 30s. All right, so let's move on, right?
Number 4, yeah.
This is going to be another one that's going to be higher on your list. My number 4 is The Place Beyond the Pines.
That's my number 4 as well.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? That's the second. I mean, the YouTube video weren't the same, but yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
isn't it perfect? Yeah. So the reason why I love the movie, and the reason why it isn't higher is because, to me, it's more of a Gosling movie than it is a Cooper movie. Bradley Cooper, he enters the film halfway through.
But I think Bradley Cooper actually has more screen time.
Does he?
Yeah, because the film is.
He also is a part of the third part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The film is broken into 3 parts, 3 chapters, all kind of seen through a different person's perspective. Or, focus on another person's life. And, it's amazing. You actually recommended me this film when we went out shopping for Blu-rays.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, and I bought it, and, amazing.
Do you want to give a quick summary of what it's about?
It's kind of hard to summarize it without spoiling it because
you can do that.
Well, like I said, it's divided into 3 sections, and they all focus on another person. And it kind of starts off with Ryan Gosling, who is this criminal, pretty much, and he is in love with a woman who actually became his real life wife, which is amazing. And I'm blanking on her name.
Eva Mendes.
Eva Mendes, thank you so much. I was thinking Eva Green, but that's a different person.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eva Mendes, and it's about their relationship together, and then he kind of falls back into a kind of a life of crime. And Bradley Cooper plays a police cop. Yeah. I wouldn't say detective, but yeah, he's just a regular cop, I guess. And he kind of gets involved, and it's these different stories kind of intersecting and then exploring their lives and how they deal with the whole situation that unfolds. And this whole story takes place over a couple of years, and it's just the whole concept is so amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was well said. I think you didn't give away anything. I don't know if a lot of people have seen this. I can highly recommend that one as well. Obviously, the Place Beyond the Pines. It's amazing. It's by the same guy who did Blue Valentine and who did Light Between the Oceans, I think it was called.
Yeah, I'm talking about Blue Valentine, one of the best love stories, if you can call it.
One of the most realistic, maybe. Yeah.
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 I love the film too, so much.
Yeah, I mean, if we were going to talk about Ryan Gosling one day, I think this guy...
It's going to be an amazing list.
Yeah, he has been in so many great things over the years. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, how did you first see the film? Because,
Place Beyond the Pines.
Like I said, I watched it because of your recommendation.
I saw it in the theater with a couple of friends. Okay. I remember the day. I remember the theater because we saw it at a theater that we don't usually go to, because I was the only one that actually showed it. And yeah, I remember it very vividly. I loved it, and I hadn't seen it. I rewatched it like a couple of months ago, and I hadn't seen it since the theaters. And I remembered so much more than I usually do about movies, and that's a compliment to the film because so much stuck with me over the years.
And I don't want to say anything wrong, but I actually think it's on Netflix.
It's going to be taken down tomorrow. It's going to be taken down tomorrow. Please check it out.
Because
Are you looking it up right now?
Definite recommendation. Yeah, I'm looking it up. I think it definitely was on Netflix at some point. I'm not sure if it's still on there.
This is great.
And it's not. Got that.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was taken down recently.
Or maybe on Prime. Whatever. Great film. Which part was your favorite? 1, 2, or 3?
That's a tough one, dude. It is available on Prime.
Oh, okay.
I just looked it up, yeah. So if you got Amazon Prime, check it out. I would say the first one.
Yeah.
I would say the first one. I remember the opening is like that long tracking shot of Gosling, like, because he's a biker. And it's that do you remember that? Where they're like in a little circle and they run their bicycles like so close to each other that you're on edge the entire time. I don't know how to describe that better. Like, there's.
No, I don't think I remember that one.
It's the opening. The 3 motorcycles in like one very small circular structure, and it's like a circus act almost. They're running so close to each other.
Yeah, in this what's it called?
A theme
like
park.
The Simpsons, yeah.
Yeah.
This fair.
Yes.
Big metallic ball.
Right.
Or cage, I guess.
Yeah, it's a ball cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it was described. Yeah, it's got so many great scenes. And Ben Mendelsohn is in this, which I had forgotten. Maybe I didn't even know who he was back when I saw it the first time. But
And Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta? Is he in that?
Yeah, he takes a bigger part in
Is he
Cooper's
police?
He's another
guy?
cop, yeah.
Yeah. Are you sure that's Ray Liotta?
I'm 99%.
See, I think you're right. I'd forgotten about that. Wow, that's crazy, yeah. I remember the character you talk about. I thought it was a different person, but I think you're right.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm right. Then again, everything we say take with a huge grain of salt because we're probably wrong.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. You're absolutely right.
All right.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
All right. So we're at number 3, right?
Yes. So my number 3 is. See, I'm looking at my number 2 and 1, and you haven't mentioned either of those films. It's going to be interesting. My number 3 is American Sniper, which was your what?
I thought it was going to be your number 1, actually.
It was in contention, but
all right.
It didn't quite make it.
I know another film that's on your list, but I have no idea what the third one could be.
Which one was? What place did you have American Sniper again?
Number 6.
Number 6. Okay. So I know that there's a lot of controversy about this, and like, especially like people outside of the U.S. who watch that film, they say it's patriotic bullshit or whatever. And I always, whenever I hear that, I'm sort of not fazed by that. If it's not like really overtly patriotic and that's just what the whole thing is about, and USA, go USA, then I'm fine with these things. And this is a true story about a guy called Chris Kyle, who was a Navy SEAL. Was he a Navy SEAL? Probably completely wrong.
I think so.
Was he a Navy SEAL? We're looking everything up today.
He was a sniper.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I think he was a Navy SEAL. God damn it.
Yeah, I think so, because there's this scene in the bar where he and his Navy SEAL pals, and he meets his wife.
Yeah. It was also played by Sienna Miller.
Huh.
Yeah.
Coming full circle.
Absolutely. And it's about a story about one of the most prolific snipers in the in this Navy SEAL history, and he took out, I don't know, a record amount of people during war. And obviously that subject itself is difficult, and I can understand why that film is not appealing to anyone. But I remember I saw that one in theaters in IMAX with my dad, and I was just tense the whole way through, so much so that I literally let my feet when the movie was over, because I tensed them. How do I say that? I flexed them. I don't know, out of tension the whole time. And it just hurt afterwards. I remember that. That was crazy. And there's like so many, and like from a movie standpoint, from a cinematic standpoint, there's so many great scenes in this, like that have you really like hold your breath and on edge, where he's like, do you remember that? Where he's like praying that a child goes out of the danger zone because he doesn't want to shoot, because he doesn't want to endanger the child.
Yeah, I think it might be the most famous scene, or maybe the most
Could be. Yeah, absolutely.
maybe controversial.
And the film also, it deals with PTSD and him like returning from the war and dealing with his struggles there and his family struggles. And there's that one scene, that infamous scene of him holding his baby, which is so obviously a puppet. Like they talked about it on talk shows as well. It's like it looks so cheap, and he like moves the hand with his thumb so that to give it a little bit of movement. And they laugh about it now. I don't think, I mean, it didn't bother me too much. It's like one scene. I don't know why they couldn't afford, why they didn't choose a real baby. I think they talked about it. I forgot the reason why now, but to me, this movie really, really worked. And I think it's one of his best performances. He like really bulked up for this. He was almost unrecognizable from like Hangover or other like films that he did prior to American Sniper. And he really committed to the role, and it was really impressive. And I thought the movie was great. I'm surprised that it's on your list. Well, have you seen that recently, or had you seen it in theaters?
Quite
as well?
a few years now.
What did you
I
think
saw
of
it after it came out in theaters, so I saw it on Blu-ray. I think I bought it from my brother or something like that.
Gotcha.
And the thing is, I thought it was a cool movie. It's an interesting topic, and it kind of deals with a lot of tough subjects, and kind of the thing that also talked about in The Hurt Locker, which is this kind of guilt when soldiers come back home and they kind of have to return and they do another tour, although they're kind of finished, because they kind of feel like they left their comrades behind.
Yeah.
And I think it's an interesting subject, an interesting topic to explore, but there's some things that seemed very overly patriotic.
You think
which
so?
also kind of bothered me. Yeah. The thing is, it's a Clint Eastwood film.
Yeah.
And he kind of does this thing a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a great director, no question. But as a non-American, I guess those kind of things kind of stick out and feel kind of weird.
There's that one scene that I remember where like people, there was a highway and they were like signs all over the place, like also chanting like USA or whatever. That was sort of that's the one scene that I remember now being like people that could say that that's like the overtly patriotic thing. But then again, I think that's what actually happened. That's how I sort of justify these things, because if they happen, then the movie is allowed to portray them as such, you know?
I guess, yeah. But the thing is, I also heard that the real Kyle, what's his name?
Chris Kyle.
Chris Kyle, yes. Well, in the film, he's kind of portrayed as this guy who's very much affected by PTSD and kind of ashamed of what he did. But I heard in real life, he's quite proud of his record for the most kills. And
yeah, I don't know if he was ashamed of what he did in the film. I think he just struggled with like PTSD, not being ashamed of the things that he did. Just PTSD. But I don't remember. Yeah, I'm surprised that made your list. That's cool. I like that someone else likes the film as well, because most of the people that I've talked about the film with, that they list the patriotism as a negative, and then maybe they didn't even watch it because of that. But it's a tough watch. I mean, obviously, it's a war film, and it's a very realistically portrayed war film, I think, and it's got some very, very tough scenes to watch. But I think it's one of his best for sure.
Yeah, I think it's kind of tough to do a good war film, to kind of strike a good balance between, well, kind of excitement and a thrilling story, but also kind of incorporate that what's happening is pretty much a horror story.
Yes,
for the people involved. And there are only a few films who do that right, I think.
Yeah, it's tough for sure.
It is, yeah.
All right, what's your number 3?
My number 3, which I'm not too sure. My top 3 is
here comes
so tough.
The struggle, yeah.
I'm sorry about this. I might change it at the last second. Will I? No, I won't. Number 3 is American Hustle, a film that we talked about before, and you had at number
6.
6, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great movie because of the same reasons we talked about in the Amy Adams films, and his role is just... It's both hilarious and just makes you so angry at times, and he's this kind of incompetent, or actually kind of competent FBI agent, but he's so in love with himself and so and he's got some anger problems since he's so convinced that what he's doing is the right thing and everybody else is just an idiot, and he kind of treats his boss as an idiot, who is played by Louis C.K.
Yeah, I was going to say that those scenes are amazing.
Yeah.
Where he keeps telling the story about like ice fishing or something.
Yeah, and
he never finishes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The reason why, obviously we talked about it on the Amy Adams special, the reason why this isn't higher because I love the film is because for me this is more of a Bale Adams film than it is a Cooper film. But you can just as easily say that's like...
I think it's more about the trio, isn't it? Because it's about Amy
Sure.
Adams wanting Christian Bale to be jealous and kind of using Bradley Cooper and him playing into her. And
absolutely, but it starts off with Bale and Adams and their relationship, and then sort of Cooper enters the frame and he becomes part of the plot. But I just think it's more of a film about the duo. But you're absolutely right. You can just as easily say that it's about them, the three of them.
He's got just the best hair.
Yeah, it's amazing. Amazing. I don't think he's ever looked less attractive than in this film.
The funny thing is, in the film, he's got this suit on. I don't know if you remember it, and it's actually on the cover of the Blu-ray. Or
Yeah.
On the of the posters. Do you remember the suit he's wearing?
And not vividly.
Yeah, it's burnt into my brain so much because he's got this kind of Western suit on. You know, the kind of suits that's got those patches on the back or on the shoulders.
Right. Yeah.
And I just love this suit so much. After I watched the film, I went shopping, not because of the film, just because I needed a couple of new shirts because I was running out. And I saw this shirt and I immediately bought it because it had the same kind of pattern. And I still have it to this day and I love it.
This is a shirt or is it a suit?
A shirt. Just
okay.
A shirt.
Right. I didn't know this about you.
Yeah. You've probably seen me wearing it.
Yeah. I don't know what it looks like. I need to look it up. What's the pattern?
Well, it's just I think brown or maybe gray suit, and it's got this dark brown red patches on this.
I'm looking at it now.
Back
Yeah,
and shoulders. Yeah, and this southern.
But you also like keep it like buttoned down, like
yeah. Most of the time.
Perfect. I hadn't noticed it. No,
it's a great shirt.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes also from this film is when Bradley Cooper finally gets that Amy Adams is kind of bullshitting him, and his reaction to that. You remember?
Yes.
He just loses it. Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite scenes in this film with Bradley Cooper is towards the very end, where he sort of realizes what happened.
Yeah.
That we don't want to give away too much, but that's sort of my favorite scene with him.
Yeah.
Besides the Louis C.K. moments. All right. So this is going to be interesting now. We're going into the interesting territory now. My number 2, I'm surprised if this doesn't make your list. My number 2 is Limitless.
Dude, what is going to be your number 1? This is so weird.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm so excited about my number 1.
All right.
Is Limitless on your list?
I didn't like Limitless.
Oh, you didn't like Limitless?
No, I thought it was right, but I don't know. The whole concept was interesting, but I thought it was done quite poorly, and I don't know.
You thought it was done poorly?
Ending and all this, yeah.
Oh my god, no way.
I thought the concept of this pill is extremely cool, but I don't know. Yeah, like I said, especially the ending, I don't know. I didn't like it very much.
And like, what specifically didn't you like about the ending?
The resolution, and it's gonna build up as this thing, and how light spoilers, how deadly it is. And then it just kind of goes away, the problem, and...
Well, he sort of figures it out, yeah.
Happy ending, yeah. I know, but it's kind of cheap. I thought of this Deus Ex Machina, which just saves him because he's so smart.
Yeah, well, yeah. I can understand that. But to me, this is like one of those, I don't want to say feel-good films, but that's a movie that I can watch like whenever. That always works. Whenever it's on TV, whenever I want to watch it on Blu-ray, that always works. And I think that's a movie that like you can also recommend to just about anybody, because it's about a guy, and he gets introduced to this pill that makes him access like his whole brain, as opposed to the 10% that we usually use. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
And once he takes the pill, then he's sort of everything works, and everything. He's got all the energy and everything that he needs, and he completes everything, and he's like a superhuman being for the time, whilst the pill has its effects. and yeah, he's like he's running for something. What is he running for again?
He's running for something, isn't he? Like become a stockbroker or something like that.
Isn't it towards the end where he's like running for something because it's with obviously it's his first film with Robert De Niro. I think it's his first film with Robert De Niro, who they work together on many other things as well, or many other things. Joy, Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah. American Hustle.
Yeah, and have you seen that video where he's like in acting school, Bradley Cooper, and he asks De Niro a question, and now like 10 or 20 years later, they're working together in so many things. It's kind of awesome. Yeah, but Limitless, it's hard to be. I think most of the people, most people have seen this movie. It's difficult for me to. He obviously then runs into the people who, or the villains of this film. They also get introduced to the pill. There's like the bad guy who was in something else recently. He was in the Watchmen series. The guy who plays the villain in Limitless, the bald guy, and then they're introduced to that pill, and then there's a fight and a chase going on between Cooper and the villains there, and yeah, it's to me this is it's definitely one of his best things in films and everything. I can watch this every time. Eddie Mora, I think his name is in the film, but he must be running for something. Isn't he running for something?
Might be mayor of New York.
It's towards the end. Like obviously, first he's an author, and he writes things, and he brings it to his publisher once he takes the pills, and everything works once he takes it. He's running. There we go. I'm just looking at it now. He's running for the United States Senate.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But it's an amazing film. I'm surprised that you didn't like it. I thought this was like one of those rare films that everyone liked. I don't know if that
well,
exists.
I'm a hipster, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't call you a hipster. I don't know. You're, but yeah, whatever. Well, if you haven't seen it, then please check it out. I think you would like it.
Isn't Lucy, the film with Scarlett Johansson, kind of based on the same premise?
Oh, that one I hate it.
Yeah, I heard it's quite good, but I haven't seen it.
You heard Lucy is good. I don't know who you're talking to. That's I didn't like Lucy. Maybe you like it. You like. By now, I don't know anything about your taste in movies, so maybe you would love that movie.
It's a fun thing, isn't it?
No, it is.
It's more fun when you disagree.
Oh, absolutely. I like that. I like that about the two of us. So, and I like that you stick. You don't bullshit. You say what you like and what you don't like. That's how it's supposed to be.
All right. So we're kind of up in the top two, and dude, it's so hard for me to think of what could be your number one because.
I don't think you know my number one.
Maybe. Is it a film?
We'll get to it. It is a film, yeah. All right. Go on. I know you're 2 and 1. I just don't know the replacement.
Right. My 2 and 1 I'm still not sure about, so
I can't believe
pretty
that.
much interchangeable.
Like if you were to pick A Star Is Born at number 1, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, the thing is, the way I got it written down is number 3, American Hustle, and then number 2, A Star Is Born, and then number 1, you can figure it out by now.
Yeah.
Silver Linings.
Yes.
The thing is, why I'm not so sure about in which order I want to do those kind of films is because, first of all, A Star Is Born, I thought it was a great film. I loved it so much. I thought the performances both by Bradley Cooper and by Lady Gaga were just amazing. But I also loved Silver Linings Playbook when I saw it, especially the first time, because when I rewatched it, it was still good, but not as good as when I watched it for the first time. But the thing is, Star Is Born, the thing is, he didn't just play the leading role, he directed it. So I kind of have to give him credit for all the other performances. And there's a reason why Lady Gaga was nominated for an Oscar and Sam Elliott wasn't.
Yeah.
Also kind of due to him, I think.
Absolutely.
That's why I want to put it quite high, because I just absolutely loved the film when I saw it, and I didn't expect that I would. I thought I was going to be quite disappointed, actually, because I'm not that much into those kind of films. And I think it's kind of a cool thing. It's a very cool film, and everybody seems to like it, and the song plays quite high on the charts, I guess, which doesn't have to mean anything, because normally I don't like those kinds of songs, but I thought it was a great song. And
shallow.
The thing is, this it's like the 4th remake of the film.
Yeah, something like that.
4th, 5th iteration of the story. And it was great. It's got some great moments, very emotional, and really got to me. And I thought the whole premise and the way they portrayed it made it seem so real, and made you think that if you were in the same spot, how would you react to that?
Have you decided now what the ranking's going to be?
Yeah, I already said how it's gonna be. So I don't know. Let's just do it like this. Stars Born number 2, I guess, because that's how I got it written down.
Okay.
But like I said, you can interchange those.
Yeah. No, these lists are never set in stone.
Yeah.
But Stars Born, I agree with what you said, and I think it's a lovely sentiment that you said that you got to take it into account that he directed it as well. That was the first film that he directed, and I thought it was absolutely amazing what he did there. I thought it looked like he did this. It looked like he had done it for years.
Yeah.
And I heard him talk about like he worked with so many great directors over the years, and David O. Russell, who did like American Hustle and Silver Linings Playbook and Joy, he was one of the most, he was one of his biggest influences because he asked him so many questions on set, and he was willing to teach him about directing, and he learned so many things about directing from him. So that was one of his ways of maybe now having such a vast knowledge of it before even doing it, because he's worked with so many great directors over the years.
It reminds me of an anecdote with Jonah Hill, who kind of tells the story that when he first tried to direct the film.
Yeah. With Scorsese?
He called up Scorsese and asked him for some question. He actually sat down with him for multiple hours and went through all the steps with him.
Yeah, it must be so amazing to be able to do that. Yeah.
Must be
amazing. So I agree. And one thing I want to say as well, I think if we're talking about performances, I think this is Bradley Cooper's best performance. I really think so. Like, obviously, this list is not just purely based on performance. We're trying to, if the film is better than the performance or whatever, it's obviously difficult to find the balance. But if we're talking about just the performance, what's the best thing that I've seen from Bradley Cooper, then The Star is Born would make the list. And it would be maybe even the number one. Yeah, it might be number one. But the reason why it's my number 5, is because I didn't love the film. And especially, we talked about this before, I didn't like the way that I didn't like the arc of Lady Gaga's character when she was like, because she starts off as this indie country singer with obviously playing like Shallow in front of thousands of people with Bradley Cooper, but then they turn her into Lady Gaga. They turn her into a performer with dancers and into like a pop sensation with light shows.
Cool.
No, I hated that part.
Because I think a lot of people actually start off quite small and quite natural, let's call it that, and then they turn those people into those pop icons, those things, I guess, because they lose so much personality and they just become this instrument of the music industry, and they change their look and how they sound and what they do, and all of a sudden they got those background dancers. It's kind of a similar story like in Vox Lux. Very much reminded me of that because...
Right, but I think, don't you think that both in Vox Lux and both in that and in Stars Born, that they like the way that they sort of appreciate the fact that they are turned into different people.
The thing. Of course, the people don't completely hate it, because otherwise they wouldn't do it. Because the thing is, they kind of get enamored with the stardom that they've achieved, and the people love them, and people tell those people that that's the way you got to do it. That's what you have to do, and then they kind of think that's the way it has to be done. That's why they love it, and then, because they don't think there's another choice, and they just take it as the way they have to be in this kind of industry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just think it was like just a box standard pop drama arc, or like an origin story, and it's like you got the bad manager who turns her into a completely different person, and everything that was cool about her character, and that was like introduced in the first half of the film, that sort of it's all pushed away, and she sort of loses everything that was cool about her, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I think that just shows interesting character development.
I think it shows generic character development in that subject matter. If we talk about a pop star.
I get what you mean, that people, get taken over by a bad manager and everything, but just the perspective that we see of them at home, and how when she is lying in the bathtub and they talk, and he just kind of gets pissed off, and you don't know if it's because he's actually concerned for her image and who she has become, or it's because he's jealous.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of cool.
No, that's absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. As I said, the one the main thing that I take away from A Star Is Born is how amazing Bradley Cooper is in this. I think he's never been better.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
So I can understand why you put it that high. And obviously you like the film a bit more than I did, but I like the film as well. It made my top of the year list, but I just didn't like it as much as you did. But good choice, absolutely.
So I'm so excited for this.
Yes.
Tell me,
dude. Wait, when we talked about Bradley Cooper things, I didn't know this was going to be my number one, but I knew it was going to be like in my top three. And this is a hidden gem, absolutely. I'm so excited about this. My number one is a movie called The Midnight Meat Train. Have you heard about this?
no idea.
So this,
Except if you told me before, but I wouldn't remember.
I'm not sure. I saw this like maybe a year or two ago.
I'm gonna look this up right now. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking up when it came out as well. It came out in 2008, so that was before his Hangover breakthrough. And I had heard about this film on Twitter when someone was like talking about Bradley Cooper in some way, and I just read one comment that said, "Have you checked out this film? That's one of his more underrated films." So I looked it up, and I own it on Blu-ray now. It's an absolutely insane film. It's with Bradley Cooper. It's also with Vinnie Jones. Do you know Vinnie Jones?
No idea, no.
You know him when you see him, 100%. He's that British. He used to be a footballer, I think, and he's been in so many movies. He's like as a footballer turned into an actor. If you see him, you absolutely know him.
Football or soccer? So European football, right?
Yeah. I refuse to call it soccer.
Yeah, I understand it, but
yeah.
I don't know which side you were on the argument.
No. And this is a movie about. It's an insane film. So it's about Bradley Cooper's a photographer, and he struggles in his job, and then he doesn't get a promotion that he wants, and then he's sort of told to be more courageous and take more courageous photos, or take more risks or whatever. And then he sort of takes pictures of the city. I think it's in New York. Not sure if that's correct. It is. Is that saying anything about New York? It doesn't say anything about a city. Anyway, he's taking pictures of the city, and then one night he takes pictures of a crime that's happening, because he wants to sell these pictures, and then he also then intervenes in the crime. But he takes pictures, and then he intervenes in the subway, and then he notices a man, that's Vinnie Jones, a very crazy looking man, a very ominous looking man. And then he follows him into the last subway train of the night, and he witnesses something that is absolutely out of this world. This is a gore film. This is a horror film. This is extremely violent. Like, if you're like, I know that this is not going to be for everyone. Maybe not even for anyone who's listening to this. But this is like, he is sort of a butcher type, the villain in this. He butchers people on the train at night.
The title makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like shown in an extremely graphic way. Like, really, this is not for the faint of heart. And I don't want to give away I don't want to say anything else, but this is about a story of him like tracking him down. Like, there's he's sort of trying to figure out, first of all, why he's doing that, and just what the hell is going on, and he tries to stop him. And it's got one of my favorite endings that I've seen like in recent times. And go on.
I know, I'm just so surprised that you picked a horror film, because when I first met you and when we first started watching films together, you said that you hated horror films, and you kind of watched them, and after all these years, you just watch more and more horror films, and I find out that you watch so many horror films that I thought you couldn't watch.
No. It was never that. It's a very, very specific genre of horror films. Like, if I watch violent films, I'm fine with that. But it's about these like supernatural ghost things, like The Conjuring, for example. I'm not watching The Conjuring. But if it's about like, if it's Saw, if it's gore, I'm fine with that.
That's what about always the Invisible Man, a film that you love?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying I agree with you. I am getting more and more into horror than I absolutely. I'm watching way more than I used to. But for me, The Midnight Meat Train, that's like a extremely fucking brutal thriller. Honestly, that's what it is to me. It's not horror to me because it's extremely violent, but it's not like you don't have jump scary ghost faces jumping from the screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like I want the cinematography of this is done by I think a Japanese director. I'm not going to say his name because I'm going to butcher it. I'm going to try it. I'm just going to say his last name is called Kitamura. And the cinematography in this is gorgeous. Like, it's amazing. And I was so excited to be able to talk about this film because I don't think a lot of people know about this film. I don't think a lot of people know that Bradley Cooper was in this. And if you're into gore films, then it's a high recommendation. But I mean, if you're not, then I would steer clear of this. But
there's a weird kind of people who are into gore films. To just say that is
right. You're
quite
right.
Weird.
If you're okay with watching gore films, it's a Clive Barker novel. I think he's like a horror author. He wrote like a couple of short stories. He's like an English author, and that's what the movie is based on. A book of his that's called, I think it's called The Midnight Meat Train. And you got also Leslie Bibb is in that, who, you know, like she was in Iron Man and so many other things. Yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna say. It's
such a weird pick, yeah.
It is a weird
Wasn't
pick.
expecting one. Yeah.
I'm hoping that it came across as what it's about. Can you like give me a quick summary of what it's about so that I can know that so that I know that I sort of gave a good summary?
It's Nightcrawler gone incredibly wrong.
Sure, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, isn't Nightcrawler itself a movie where everything goes horribly wrong?
But well, for him it goes quite well.
Yeah, okay,
most
fair
of
enough.
the time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, check it out. I mean, it's a surprise that it made my number one.
Yeah,
but
me too.
it's as you said, the first like three, number 1, 2, and 3 are very interchangeable for me as well. These are not like set in stone like they were with Amy Adams or Brad Pitt, but this one was a bit more fluctual for me. But right now, if I had to pick a number one and the best thing that I've seen, that would be The Midnight Meat Train. And I love it because I love discovering films that not a lot of people know about, and they actually like are really, really good. And there's an honorable mention on my list here where Bradley Cooper has a very, very small part, so that's why I didn't include it. But I absolutely love that film as well. So I'm always a fan of these kind of more hidden gems.
All right.
All right.
Well, my number one pick, you all know what it is by now. And the thing is, it is my number one. The reason why I put it at number one is because we're talking about the best thing that we've seen. And it's not the best film on this list. Not by a long shot. I think it would be like number 5. I think Place Beyond the Pines is a better film. American Hustle, Star is Born are all better films. But the thing is, Silver Linings Playbook, I just had the best time watching it. And that's why it's the best thing that I've seen, because I just had the best time, yeah. Because I watched it together with a friend, Steven, a friend of ours. And I've told this story so many times probably, but we went into the same school, and it was back when we were in school, and he said, "You want to check this film out with Robert De Niro?" That's pretty much all we knew, because I hadn't watched trailers and I didn't know pretty much what the film was about, but we're both big De Niro fans, because, well, who isn't? And we saw this film, and De Niro doesn't have the biggest role. It's about a guy, Bradley Cooper, who got arrested and went to jail and then to kind of this sanatorium, I guess, or to a psychiatric clinic.
Yeah.
Third time's the charm. And because he beat up the guy who cheated, who cheated on him with his wife. No,
no.
that's wrong. No way. The guy his wife cheated on him. No, wait.
Cheated on him with. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, but tough sentence.
Yeah, he comes home one day,
yeah,
and he finds them. Yeah.
Yeah, in the shower, and he just beats the shit out of him, and then he goes to this clinic, and then he gets out, and he expects to just go back to work and to get back with his wife, who just doesn't want to see him right now, and she's kind of scared and has a restraining order, but he thinks it's just a phase. She'll be back with him, and he just has these rage problems, and he has to move back with his parents, and tries to get his life back on track, so she will love him again, and he meets a neighbor of his who has also got some psychiatric problems, who is played by Jennifer Lawrence, and they get to know each other, and they enroll to a dance contest because she's a dancer and she needs a partner, and she says that his wife will be there because they got mutual friends.
No, I think it's she promises him to deliver the wife a letter if he joins her in the dance competition.
That's right, yeah. That's when she sees him dancing, that she'll see him and she'll be in love with him when she got the letter, etc. Or something like that. And yeah, Robert De Niro plays the father of Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
It's kind of a small role, but it's just such a sweet film. It wasn't at all what I was expecting. Neither of us were when we walked into the cinema. And it's, first of all, it's got some great humor. We laughed out loud so many times in the cinema.
It does, yeah.
But
Especially the interactions with De Niro and Cooper.
Yeah, and and with his psychiatrist also quite funny.
Yeah, that's true.
And the thing is, yeah, like I said, it's not the best film on this list, and I've seen it about 2 or 3 times since I saw it in the cinema. I saw it actually twice in the cinema. I went with, I think, my brother and my cousin, who were not big fans of the film.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you rewatch it, it's still good, but not as good. But like I said, the reason why it's my number one is just I had the best time watching it.
Yeah, it's a great film. And I think Cooper is also, that's one of his best performances. That's one of the first films that he actually got a lot to do, that he had a lot to do.
And if
he
he's
did it really
not
well.
Just the funny guy or not just the serious guy, it's kind of a cool mixture. And it kind of reminds me of his role in American Hustle, this guy with anger problems. He was just so convinced of himself.
Yeah. And the chemistry that he has with Jennifer Lawrence is great. I mean, they worked together many times after that, and I think they did Joy, American Hustle, and also that Serena film, which I haven't seen. It's supposed to be pretty bad. So, but that was the first film that they worked together.
But in American Hustle, they got pretty much no interaction with each other.
Yeah,
they speak to each other maybe once.
Yeah. Well, it's all from the same director, as we said. Not Serena, but yeah, he likes to cast the same people.
And in Aloha he's with Emma Watson, right? No, it's not Emma Watson. Emma Stone. Yeah.
And Rachel McAdams. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
That's supposed to be terrible. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, that's one of the films that I didn't watch for this. I didn't feel the need to watch it. All right.
We got kind of his biggest films.
Yeah, we do.
Except, the MCU, but then again, those aren't Bradley Cooper films, and he's got quite a small role, I think.
Well, yeah, but if he was in like one MCU film and he was good in it, then I would have included it. But he's like in 4, I think he's in 4, and I love all of this. Right? I think I looked it up. I think it's 4. It's Endgame, Infinity War, and the 2 Guardians movies.
Yeah, probably.
But I didn't want to include all 4 of them, obviously. All right, man. I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any honorable mentions that you want to talk about?
I think I've put everything that I thought was
everything on the table
in the list. Yeah.
See, I got a couple of things. First of all, War Dogs. We talked about it. You had it on your list. Obviously, Burnt as well.
Yeah.
And then, have you seen the movie The Rocker?
I haven't. No. What's that?
It's amazing. I absolutely love the film, but Bradley Cooper is in it for like 3 scenes.
The Rocker.
The Rocker.
A new film or
no? It's also like 2008.
All right.
It's with Rainn Wilson, who plays Dwight in The Office.
Yeah.
And he is a drummer in the band with Bradley Cooper and with Fred Armisen and with Will Arnett. And then he has to leave the band. And then 20 years later, he joins a band of young people because of I think it's his nephew, who's played by Josh Gad. He has a band with Emma Stone and with Teddy Geiger, I think the last actor is called. And then he joins their band because they lose their drummer. And then it's sort of about the rise of this new band, and then they run into the old band again with Bradley Cooper. And the music is absolutely brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Like, and seriously, there's really, really good music in this. And it's a sweet story. It's Rainn Wilson. Like it's gross at times because he's pretty much, he's a vile human being in this. Just in terms of hygiene,
All right.
Yeah. But I absolutely love the film. I just couldn't include it because Bradley Cooper's part is so small in it, but I really love the film. And then obviously Cooper's in Yes Man. I don't know if you've seen that one, the Jim Carrey film.
I have, but I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I like the film, but he's also a very small part in it. And Wedding Crashers, which we haven't talked. Well, you mentioned it, but
he's the villain. I remember loving that film when I saw it on TV, but I haven't seen it since, and I've only seen it in German.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the last one is: have you seen The Words with Zoe Saldana?
Once again, no.
That's it's also
It
with
was
Olivia
for all those
Wilde.
weird movies that I've never heard of. Yeah.
Well, that's not even an unknown movie. That's like 2012. And I think he because he was together with Zoe Saldana in real life, and I think that was the movie that sort of sparked that relationship. It's a decent film. It didn't come close to making my list, but I just wanted to. It's an honorable mention, I think.
All right.
Yes, I think that's it.
A good list, yeah.
Yeah, he's done so much good stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe next time Ryan Gosling.
Tough to choose. Yeah. If we find something to justify picking the list. If Ryan Gosling is self-isolating in 4 weeks,
or maybe if it's not.
Maybe if he's not, if he's the one.
Makes him special. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. We'll get in touch with him.
Find a reason. Yeah.
We'll get in touch with him. We'll ask if he's self-isolating. And yeah, Bradley Cooper. And I mean, now the next thing that he's going to do, like directing-wise, he's directing a Bernstein.
Yeah,
biopic.
He plays the main role.
Yeah, so that's something to be excited about as well. Can't wait to see what he does next.
All these films might get pushed back now.
So. Oh, for sure, they will absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's something to look forward to.
Yeah, hopefully Dune will still come out in December.
Yeah, I mean everything's pushed these days. We'll see. A lot of good stuff coming out, but
definitely
we'll have to wait a long time for it, maybe a bit longer. All right. So yeah, that's the best thing that we've seen from Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. I hope you agree with our list, and if not, I don't know.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, let
us know your list.
Maybe you picked up some recommendations.
Like yes.
Midnight Meat Train.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hope you had a good time.
For sure.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, as always, you can get in touch with us on Twitter. You know the handle.
Best Thing Radio.
Perfect. And you can, we'd love it if you left a review on any of the podcasting platforms, and you can find us on YouTube as well. And yeah, just get in touch with us if you enjoy the show, and if you have anything to add to the list that we talked about. Maybe if we missed something, that would be interesting as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
We'll be back with another regular episode next week. And till then, stay safe. Watch a lot of things.
Now's the time.
Is that like the new sign off slogan? Watch things.
Watch things. Yeah.
Watch things. All right. We'll see you next week.
Sit down and get busy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.